How does your college major relate to your current work?
Well, my college major is in psychology. I got my bachelor's and my master's in psychology, but I didn't end up going down the route of being a psychologist. Um, it was an interesting course when I started college. I was focused on psychology. I love the mind. I love the way trying to figure out how the mind works. And I was doing a lot of research at the time in working memory. But when it started off when I was in my master's course, um, I had to take some extra classes that weren't related to the field or the major that I was in. They're called electives. And I took a couple of electives and I chose computers. It was kind of new at the time in our department. But it was interesting. I really liked figuring out computers. I think we had to do some coding and stuff like that. And I got along really well with the professor at the time. And that's kind of how that part started. And when it was time to get to pick my career, the professor who I took the extra computer classes said, "Hey, there's a job opening in this particular field called human factors." I think it was called human factors engineering. It's relatively new. And what it does is it looks at the relationship between the computer, a system, and the person. They call them the user using that particular system. I didn't really know much about it, but I was fortunate. My boss, my first boss at that time, was really patient with me. Knew that I had a strong psychology understanding, and I had a good strong sense of working memory, because that's what I studied and that's what my thesis was on. It was that channel of understanding the computer side, and right when I started working on the computer side, I was able to really kind of challenge myself because it was really new. So I took extra time, even between my work, my work to off hours on the weekends, to read up as much as I could. I needed to really figure out that relationship, where now we have the computer as a new variable into the mix when we're kind of thinking about it from a user, the mind's perspective. It took a while, but I was able to do really well. And I kind of got a knack for it to be able to kind of express designs. And I think that the field from human factors has kind of changed several labels. Now it's called a user experience designer, but essentially it's the same role where you're looking at how a user interacts with a particular system. And I think my major, psychology, played a big role because it made me have that understanding of how a person thinks about things, how the mind works. Primarily around working memory, how many things can they hold? When does it become too taxing for a user when they're trying to work on a particular task? And that's kind of where my major came in. But it was I did a kind of a left turn when I went down the computer route and picked the new budgeting field of human factors engineering.